In the 1960s and 1970s, the rules were different. If you grew up in this golden era, you remember a world defined by its music, its fashion, and a distinct lack of worry. In this episode, we're rolling back the clock to a time before smartphones and the internet, when life was simpler, louder, and a lot more colorful. This is a journey through the sights, sounds, and smells that only a specific generation will ever truly understand. Here are 20 things that were a daily part of life, from the toys you broke to the music that made you move. Let's see how many of these unique memories you still cherish. Number 1, clackers, the soundtrack of chaos. If you were there, you know the sound. That impossibly loud, addictive clack, clack, clack that meant someone was either mastering the toy or about to break it. Clackers were pure kinetic energy, a simple device that required rhythm and led to numerous bruises, making them the perfect, noisy emblem of a less regulated childhood. Number 2, the Easy Bake Oven, the scent of early ambition. This wasn't just a toy, it was your first kitchen appliance and your introduction to independence. Powered by a light bulb, it promised culinary greatness, even if all you actually created were miniature, slightly scorched cakes. The joy was in the process, and the anticipation, not necessarily the taste. Number 3, bell-bottom jeans, the defining fashion statement. Jeans weren't just clothing, they were a whole event. Bell-bottoms started tight at the hip and flared out to often extreme widths, creating dramatic silhouettes that swept the floor. Every casual walk down the street, especially with a platform shoe underneath, felt like a runway show. Number 4, dodgeball, the ultimate schoolyard showdown. Dodgeball holds a unique place in history. It was the standard, intense cornerstone of every physical education class, simultaneously loved by the athletic and absolutely dreaded by everyone else. This was more than just a game. It was an intense, primal rite of passage. It was loud, chaotic, and often brutal, a true test of agility, speed, and pain tolerance. The unmistakable memory of being targeted, the scramble to avoid that stinging red ball, and the triumph of the perfect catch is an unforgettable cultural marker of a very competitive era of gym class. Number 5, Stretch Armstrong, the seemingly indestructible hero. This iconic action figure promised power and resilience. Stretch was the one toy that children felt they could abuse endlessly, and often did. Hours were spent challenging his incredible tensile strength, with kids pulling his limbs in 2 different directions, certain they would finally break him. But Stretch always proved his worth, slowly, agonizingly, snapping back into his muscular form, ready for the next round of punishment. He was a symbol of enduring toughness, a highly memorable figure that could survive almost any childhood rampage. Number 6, waterbeds, the peak of groovy comfort. The waterbed was a piece of furniture that defined an entire generation's living space. More than just a bed, it was a symbol of leisure, luxury, and the experimental spirit of the 70s. Sleeping on a waterbed felt exactly like floating, giving the sleeper a unique sense of weightlessness. However, the experience came with inherent risks, the complex task of filling the bed and the inevitable anxiety over a leak, which could cause catastrophic structural damage and massive flooding, meant this groovy item was often banned or heavily restricted in apartment buildings and older homes. Number 7, the smell of fresh ditto copies, that distinct, intoxicating aroma. Every student who passed through the American school system in this era shares this unique chemical and slightly intoxicating memory. The sweet, distinctive scent that would immediately fill the air whenever the teacher handed out a stack of freshly duplicated worksheets signaled the start of a lesson. This smell came from the use of highly volatile, flammable solvents, like methanol, used in the old spirit duplicator machines, a uniquely powerful sensory marker of the time. Number 8. Metal lunchboxes. Personal identity carried. Before plastic lunch containers took over, your personality was clearly defined by the solid metal box you carried. These lunchboxes were often loud, prone to denting, and usually featured a bright graphic depiction of your favorite TV show or movie hero. They were tough, reliable, and functional, serving not just as food storage, but as a critical piece of visual branding and cultural allegiance for every school kid. Number 9. Lava lamps. The iconic hypnotic glow. A lava lamp was the essential piece of visual decoration in any cool kid's room or a college dorm. Watching the slow, hypnotic blobs of wax rise and fall within the colored fluid against a backdrop of soft, warm light was the ultimate necessary ritual for chilling out. They transformed the atmosphere of any room, providing a uniquely analog moment of mesmerizing contemplation. Number 10. The overhead projector. The low-frequency hum of education. This was the state-of-the-art classroom technology. You knew the sound well, the quiet whir of the fan and the high-intensity light, followed by the squeak of the teacher's marker on the clear plastic sheet. It made the notes visible to everyone, but the projector required incredibly hot, high-wattage bulbs. The heat generated by the machine and its potential for burns or fire was a constant underlying thermal presence in every classroom. Number 11. Film strips. Film strips were a unique, multi-sensory classroom experience. The ritual required the room lights to go out, the projector to click, and a separate record or cassette player to deliver the narration. The clunky process required a student monitor to advance the frame only when signaled by that distinct, low ding or beep, a perfectly synchronized moment of passive learning that defined a generation. The classroom ritual. Number 12. Milk in glass bottles. The simple, clear delivery. Having milk delivered right to your porch in a thick, reusable glass bottle was a normal, everyday service. You would wake up to the sound of heavy glass clinking on the steps, a sound that signaled the local milkman had passed by. It was a simpler, more local, and slightly precarious way to get your dairy, requiring the return of the empty bottles. Number 13. Vinyl records. The physical connection to music. In this era, music was not merely disposable digital data. It was a physical, ritualistic experience. True music appreciation involved carefully lifting the turntable arm, gently placing the needle onto the grooves of the black vinyl, and waiting for that signature pop and hiss before the song finally started. This hands-on process elevated the act of listening to a genuine, focused ritual. Number 14. Saturday morning cartoons. The sacred weekend pilgrimage. This wasn't merely television. It was a cultural institution and a sacred part of the weekend routine. The ritual began the moment you woke up, knowing you had exclusive access to the screen. It was a mandatory several-hour block reserved just for kids, powered entirely by giant bowls of the most colorful and sugary cereal on the market. The louder the crunch, the better the experience. Number 15. CB radios, the original social network. Before the internet and cell phones, the CB radio was the way to communicate openly and instantly. Whether you were a long-haul trucker, a local driver, or just a kid with a powerful antenna, the airwaves were alive with unique handles, code words, and quick, fleeting conversations with strangers across the country. 10-4, good buddy, was the language of the time. Number 16. Polaroid cameras, instant gratification with a wait. The Polaroid camera offered a unique magic, the moment of pulling the square photo out, shaking it vigorously, even though you weren't supposed to, and watching the colors slowly develop right before your eyes. It was analog wonder and instant memory capture, creating excitement that simply can't be replicated by a phone screen today. Number 17. Rock'em Sock'em Robots, the classic mechanical showdown. This toy was pure, simple, competitive joy. The goal was to mash the controllers as fast as possible, waiting for that perfect hit that would send your opponent's robot head flying off its shoulders in victory. It was an enduring, noisy classic of competitive mechanical mayhem that thrilled every kid. Number 18. Happy Days. TV comfort food. More than just a show, Happy Days was a cultural phenomenon that defined the nostalgia for the previous 1950s decade while becoming a classic of its own time. It was TV comfort food, a world where everyone wanted to hang out at Arnold's and be as effortlessly cool as the Fonz. Number 19. Big Wheels. The lowrider dream. These oversized plastic tricycles, with their chunky, low-to-the-ground design, were the ultimate in neighborhood speed. They were loud, perfect for leaning into the turn for a controlled power slide down the driveway, giving every child the feeling of driving a cool, custom lowrider. Number 20. Spirograph. Geometric hypnosis. The spirograph was a deceptively simple mathematical tool that allowed you to create intricate, complex, and beautiful geometric patterns using gears and colored pens. Hours were spent patiently tracing the movements, turning every blank piece of paper into a stunning, unique piece of mathematically beautiful art. Which one of these nostalgic items did you remember most clearly? Or what truly unique item from your childhood did we miss? Tell us your favorite memory in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey back in time, please like and subscribe to Good Old Times so you don't miss our next video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.